Well, howdy folks. Sitting in the seat of a Sterling tow truck today. This is a little different for me, but we're gonna have a lot of fun. And we're riding in the truck of a 43-year tow operator. And why don't you say hi, Ginger?
Hi everybody, how you doing?
What are we gonna get into today?
We are going to do the basics of towing today, unless the tow gods change it for us.
All right.
We're going to do the paperwork, get our purchase orders so we can get our white money to get paid. We're going to do whatever towing calls come in, or tire changes, or nobody likes your tire changes. and we're going to probably make somebody's bad day a little better, we hope.
Sounds good.
It's inevitable when I do stuff like this. The day goes completely flop and it gets no towing calls. So if we don't have towing calls, we're going to talk about towing. We're going to talk about the importance of slowing down and moving over, safety, respect for others, and just in general.
Sounds good.
That's today's day.
All right.
Okay.
So what do you love about this new truck?
Oh, I first like the fact that the gentleman that I bought it from, Frank Enos, gave me the privilege of having it. Because that was his baby. Okay. And I like that it's big. I like that it can do just about anything I want to do. I will confess, I do like the fact I don't have to shift all the time, especially in traffic. It's an automatic. It's also got no DEF on it.
There you go.
It's an 06, so it's not, it's pre-DEF. But I just think it's a beautiful truck.
Yeah.
And I have a blast doing it.
Okay. So you mentioned 43 years of being a tow operator. How did you become a tow operator?
Good story. As I mentioned to you, when I got the job at Dimmitt Chevrolet by a fluke, there was a tow operator, we call them wreck drivers back then, we still do, that was leaning against a tow truck, and we started dating because coming across the parking lot, I said, there's a guy I'm going to marry. Fell in love with the truck too. I'd only had my car towed once before that, and it was in Philadelphia. It was my little 64 MG midget. And the guy was dirty, smelly, ugly, but he was the nicest person. And every time I kept looking back at my car, he just goes, ma'am, it's not going to fall off, it's okay. And I think something about him and how he handled me kind of put me in the position where I am now of having compassion for other people and in their breakdowns. And no matter what their personality is, they yell at you, they scream at you, whatever they do. At any rate, and then my husband, we eventually got married. My husband and I, he got a job working for Nationwide Auto Repair. And at one point they decided they didn't want to have anything to do with the trucks anymore. So they offered him and I, secondary, the towing division. And as a result, he said to me, he said, so what do you want to do? Do you want to keep Squirrel? That was a driver they had, it was his nickname. Or do you want to learn how to do this? I'm a tomboy at heart. I want to learn how to do this. I have still then and still now have a blast as Mr. Fitzgerald. And it's, I will confess truly, it's egotistical getting out of a truck. And people go, you're a girl.
Yeah.
I look down and go, oh yes I am. And it's flattering. And I never take it offensively at all. Because there's just, you gotta do what you like to do. You gotta do something that makes you smile. And this does.
So in the very beginning, when you learned to operate the truck, well, do you remember what truck it was that you're operating in the beginning? What was that like when you first started learning?
It was scary because I had never changed a tire. I had never jump started a car. And then, as well as now, I don't like anything that sparks. So when you see people putting jump boxes on and you get the little sparking, I'm like, I'm out of here. So I do it a little reverse and plug in the jump box in the end. Needless to say, it was just so much fun and so adventuresome. I mean, we ran AAA back then. The guys had bets on me how long I would last.
Really?
They did. They most certainly did. And one guy, at the time, he was in his mid-50s, Monroe Miller. He is on the wall of the fallen. And I put him there. Monroe wouldn't bet on me. Monroe says she's going to be doing this longer than any one of you guys. Period. And Monroe, if I had kept the money, I don't know how much money they raised in their bets, if there was any money involved. I probably could have had a little small fortune back then.
Yeah.
The betting. And they did. They bet on me. But at any rate, so I learned. Smitty would teach me over the two-way radio. AAA, we had little manuals on how to hook up cars. And you just learned as you go. And I remember we had a customer in a shopping center that I went out to jumpstart his little Ford. And I got out of the truck and he looks at me, he goes, no. I'm like, what? He goes, no. You're not touching my car. I said, sir, I'm here to take care of your car and you.
Right.
He goes, no, I want a guy. I said, well, I brought all the proper toys. And that's where I came up with that phraseology. Oh, I brought my toys. What did you bring? Oh, a dead car? I haven't ever said it like that to a customer, but I think about it. And so I went, he finally conceded to let me try and jumpstart. So I went to jumpstart it. And he goes, no, you can't put the negative cable there. No, you can't do that. I said, let me see your owner's manual. So we go, no, you can't do that. So I called up Smitty and I said, he won't let me jumpstart the car. He won't let me put the negative cable here, blah, 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 right? And he comes out, he gets out of that truck, and he takes his cable, puts on it, and he goes, bam, bam, start the damn car. Sir? Guy starts up, and he goes, now, let me explain something to you. She knows what she's doing. I taught her, and obviously I did something right here. And you see where that negative cable is? That's exactly where she was going. And, so at any rate,
so wait, what just happened there?
That was another tow operator.
Oh, okay.
Another member of the Brotherhood. I don't know who he is. I don't know where he's from.
All right, it's kind of like the Jeep wave, Harley wave, motorcycle wave. All right.
Exactly. And we always flip our lights at each other. We used to. A lot of the tow operators now, I'm sorry guys, the kids don't do that. I don't care who you work for.
Yeah.
You're a member of this brotherhood. And this is an honorable brotherhood. And you say hello. And if somebody needs help, you help them. Doesn't matter who they work for. You don't have to like his boss or her boss. You know? So anyhow, that's what that was.
All right, cool.
At any rate, so you just kind of learn as you go. And have I made mistakes? Have I damaged a car? Yep. But it's just, you learn by the seat of your pants. I think most all operators do learn by the seat of your pants. But now we have schools. We have rec masters. There used to be the Georgia Institute. Ross Kinman from Indianapolis used to have training classes. I've taken his classes, been certified through him. I've never done a rec master class because I've never managed to pull myself away from working that long to do that. And you just go along and you learn. You learn through school hard knocks sometimes.
Yeah. Within the first year, what were some of the things that you learned that have been lessons and things that you still carry on to now?
That there's going to be a time that you walk in their shoes. And that you have to remember to put yourself in their shoes to continue on that vein of making their bad day better.
You mentioned challenges. What are some challenges in terms of what you've had to get on the bed of the truck? Do you have any challenges or any particular tows that stick out that was tougher than the others?
A loaded box truck that didn't fit inside the rails of the truck I was driving at the time, which was a friend's truck, because they were working on my little truck. And the overwhelmingness of it. The very first tow that I actually did, that was a challenge. And it was a man's pickup truck that drove a teeny bit. And so therefore I was literally learning by the seat of my pants on that one over the two-way radio. And I have a habit when I'm really nervous, I rub my hand on my pants. Apparently I was saying, Mommy, Mom. And the guy said to me, he says, I know this is your first tow. It was July 3rd of 1981. And I had two choices. Somebody called me up and he goes...
Wait, but hold on. Why do you remember that date so well?
Because I started driving July 1st of 1981. And in those first few days, I did a little jump start, a little learning about doing a tire change. But that was actually my first tow.
Okay, all right.
And it definitely stands out because I had the customers sitting where you're sitting. And I was in an actual wrecker, a sling wrecker. And my husband called me up and he goes, we have two tows. He said, you have two choices. The Cadillac that doesn't start, doesn't run, and is going down to the beaches and it's narrow areas like Indian Rocks Beach or somewhere. Or you can take this man's pickup truck, he's riding with you, and it runs a little bit. So you have a little bit of advantage. You don't have to worry about trying to maneuver it in. And I'm dyslexic. Not terribly dyslexic, but enough that it's another challenge. So I took the one with the customer. And we didn't have all these overpasses back then. And I remember sitting at East Bay 19 doing this, and he said, so I understand this is your first tow.
Oh boy.
And I said, oh. He said, your husband told me. He's proud of you. And I said, yeah, it is. And he said, are you scared? I said, no, but I'm nervous. I said, after all, I've got your piece of equipment back there. He said, that'll be all right. So, and it was fine. And after that, it wasn't always a breeze. Because if you take it as a breeze, if you get complacent enough to take it as a breeze, it's a piece of cake. It's a piece of cake because sometimes it's easier than the next one. But if you take it complacently, you're setting yourself up for a mistake. Or hurting yourself or hurting somebody else. And you have to remember that. I'm diehard doing what I do, but I'm also diehard about you need to do things right. You need to be careful. You need to be aware of your surroundings. And I hope that I never accidentally forget that for 5 seconds, because if it is, and I do, I might be on the back there where I don't want to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. This is a 73 Mercury Cougar. Oh, nice. And it's got a transmission problem, and we're going to beep beep Amco. That's good.
Cool.
Okay, so you have a 73 Mercury Cougar, dark blue, and it's got a transmission issue, is that correct? I will call you when I'm about 5 minutes away. It'll be me. I'll be in a large two-tone blue color flatbed that clearly says Nationwide Towing. This is covered by your roadside assistance, so you will need to sign some paperwork. You're welcome. But you don't pay anything to the driver. Let's get your odometer mileage and get our basics. 32,583 or thereabouts. second, dear. Bring your wheels a little bit to the right. Stop right there. Go ahead and turn it off.
I'm not a mechanic.
Let me change the bridle here.
So what were you checking for underneath there a second ago?
The attachment points.
Okay.
In this case, this is a T-hook, which goes in a special slot on the frame. I don't use them too much anymore. I use the Mini J. Excuse me. Nationwide towing. And what kind of car is it and what's wrong with it? Right now, maybe about an hour and a half, we're dealing with a classic car. And we cannot take any passengers today. So, what would you like to do? No, I don't would. You can do that and find out what store there's 3 upper levels. Is there 3 or is there 4? I think there's 3. At any rate, find out what store they're in front of. If it's with that kind of damage, it's obviously had police. Are the police still on scene? In other words, has it been cleared or not? Okay. And then let them know that we can't take any passengers today. All right, thank you. And your first name? Tia, okay. All right, yeah, call me back either way, no matter whether you choose to use this or you choose not to use this. Just call me back and let me know, okay? All right, thank you, Tia. Bye-bye. Oops. There we go. This is an axle bridle. Mm-hmm. You can go over lower control arms, A arms. This is nylon that clips underneath. Mm-hmm. This is probably the greatest invention since sliced bread.
Really?
Yeah, in my opinion. It's a little difficult to get in here sometimes to get them on it, but...
Because it braces against the axles and lifts from there?
It's nylon on there. You don't have to worry if you're putting a J-hook on something wrong or your T-hook or your grab hook slips out. Grab hooks very rarely, not grab hooks, I'm sorry. T-hooks are Mini J's. The Mini J's very rarely slide out. Okay. The wood that I've put down, in this case, is going to be for lift. However, I also put it down so that when I'm pulling a car forward, if I'm not using an axle bridle, it doesn't roll forward and then maybe disconnect and then you lose the car. Okay. Okay. In this case, you're not going to lose the car unless your cable snaps or your winch fails. Okay. Because these are, like I said, these are the greatest things since I spread. This is a long axle bridle. Okay. I have a shorter one in there too. Okay. Whew. I like the old Florida license tag on the front. You don't see this anymore. 4 is for Pinellas County.
Oh, is it really?
I think the letter D has to do with the weight of the vehicle. But 4 is Pinellas County. 3 used to be Hillsborough County.
What year is this car? Do you remember?
This is a 73.
Okay.
I don't remember too much more of the breakdowns, but that's an old tag.
Speaking of children, do you have children or?
Well, technically you're looking at one of them.
Yeah.
6 wheels. However, I don't have any children of my own. About the time that I was thinking, well, it's about time to start a family, the business kind of arrived.
Got it.
And became the child
Yeah, makes
Smitty
sense.
had 3 children from previous marriage.
Uh-huh.
And as far as I'm concerned, Tabby, Steve, and Leanna are my children.
Uh-huh.
I share them with their mother. And they're good kids.
Yeah, that's good.
So this is your jungle gym.
Yeah. Well, you definitely get your exercise.
You do. Sometimes you wish you didn't have to. And sometimes it's a little harder to get in where you need to get to. There we go. All right, that's done. Now, usually I'll do 2 safety chains on the front.
Uh-huh.
In this case, I only have 1 because the other one, the thinner one's disappeared. The chains I have up front are heavier chains.
Right.
And I don't really want to try and weave it underneath this car.
Mm-hmm.
So, somebody's going to say, Ginger didn't do 2 safety chains. Let's get this bad boy down.
So you made short work of that car, you know, picking it up and dropping it off. So what do you do in between when there's nothing going on?
There's always something to be done.
Mm-hmm.
Usually it's sit down, do paperwork. If I have the tablet in the truck, I'll enter invoices into billing cycles.
Right.
Or into the billing on the tablet.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes we just go have fun.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
In this case, we're going to go to Philippi Park and we're going to see the Indian Mound.
Oh, awesome.
I can't pronounce the name of the Indian tribe. It starts with the letter T.
Yeah. Well, let's go check it out.
All right. There's another thing that we do occasionally.
What's that?
We do something called geocaching.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
Yeah. You are a geocache aficionado.
I am. Oh, no, I'm not an aficionado, but I do like it.
Yeah.
And if you look at this, this is just Upper Pinellas.
All right.
There's Bel Air and there's Silver Springs. And these are different geocaches.
Yep.
And if you look at the Courtney Campbell Causeway,
Uh-huh.
wait till it pops up.
Oh
There
my gosh,
are
look at that.
93 of them or more going across.
That's
And
crazy.
let me expand it because you're going to get this. The smiley faces are the ones I've found. The other ones are not.
Okay.
They're named after Campbell's soup. So this is the Courtney Campbell soup run. This is number 54, beef burrito. Whereas maybe that one
Yeah.
is 35, and it's bean and barley soup.
That's awesome.
It's very cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, let's go.
See how big it is?
Yeah, that's huge. So this is my first time actually seeing a burial mound.
Uh-huh.
So I was thinking that it's like maybe like 8 feet, 10 feet tall. But
Surprise.
yeah.
And the
That's-
climb up, it doesn't look as big of a deal to climb up it, but you start going up there and you're like huffing, puffing.
Yeah, it's not really going to translate on camera.
No.
But how tall do you think that is?
I don't know. I think there's a placard around here somewhere. It's quite impressive, really.
Yeah, it definitely is. Mm-hmm. It's a beautiful view up
It is a
here.
beautiful view.
If that was someone's daughter, 17-year-old, 18-year-old daughter sitting in the driver's seat, and, would dad go speeding by that car, within 10 feet of that car and tow truck, or would he move over? So I think, framing it just like you mentioned allows another person to think of it differently.
That's an excellent point. if you knew that was your 18-year-old daughter, or you knew that was your grandmother that just broke down, her tire went flat, and she's on the side of the road. And it doesn't have to be an interstate. It doesn't have to be Highway US 19 around here, or a state road. It can be a neighborhood street. Would you do that? No, we would like to think that you would have respect and courtesy and slow down, move over, because, like you just pointed out, that could be your family member there. It's just like the ambulances you see. People don't get out of the way. Who are they going to? Somebody's loved one. Somebody's. And that's the key word. It's somebody's loved one, or the key phrase. Somebody's loved one. And here's the other thing. Okay, so you're one of those motorists that you're driving along, and hold that thought, excuse me. Nationwide towing.
Do you have some stories?
Do I have stories? Sure. I like to talk. And I like to share experiences.
Okay, what do you got?
All right, and this particular one was right here in Philippi Park where we just left. The gentleman had a Hyundai. What did he have? I don't remember what he had. I think he had a Hyundai of some sort. At any rate, it was kind of like the Genesis is now level. At any rate, and we were told that it was in the water. I presumed he had been backing a boat in, and he had slipped on the boat ramp. No. He was nosed in, so he wasn't backing a boat in, and he was out at the end of the floating dock that went alongside the ramp where you could pull up with the boat and get on and off and whatever. And when I got out there, this car was all the way down at the very end floating, and you could only see just a little top of it. And apparently it had turned out he had gone out there, he had told the police, he had gone out there looking to see what fish might be caught. And he had told them that his car had accidentally rolled in the water. Well, little did he know, I didn't know it, there are cameras in the parks.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah. So they caught him on video trying to push the car in. He wasn't he wasn't successful because he had a flat tire in the right rear. And when he wasn't successful on that, he tried it again and was truly successful. And that set the car off. Due to the cameras and everything else, he was arrested for making a false statement. And I got out there to do the recovery. And, you had to go swimming out there. Good thing I was on the swim team in high school, right? So I'm out there swimming along, diving down underneath the water and sitting there trying to find places to attach to it. And there's an officer standing on the edge of the dock with a very long rifle like this. And I had a friend coming in taking pictures, and he says, she is not allowed to take pictures of the officer standing there with the gun. Why? What is it? And they said, well, we have a little problem with a crocodile. I said, no, they caught the crocodile. Apparently there's a crocodile that had been through the area. And they had caught him. Now, no, this was the other crocodile. And they didn't want the public to know, apparently, at that point, there was a crocodile at Philippi Park. He said the gators will tend to be startled by you and just go away. The crocodiles are very aggressive.
Right.
So I went in there, hooked up the car, started winching it out. The park ranger, one of them, told us that was a sandy-bottomed drop-off to launch your boat, not the concrete that gets all slimy and nasties.
Right.
And so I'm winching this car forward. I'm thinking, oh, good, I'm going to make my hair appointment. This is good. I'll have a great story to tell my guy. And all of a sudden, I get this bam feel as I'm winching this car in. The car comes to an abrupt halt. One of my chains became dislodged and the cable came flying back a little bit. Turns out that it was a concrete one, but you couldn't see it because the water had a lot of just debris in it. I don't know why. And as I was winching the car back, it hit the drop-off and stopped everything. So, okay. So I couldn't get it up over the lip because I was in a flatbed. I could not get it up over the lip. So I called another towing company to bring a wrecker that could get lift on it. And, which we did. We worked on that. We finally got it out. But before I got it out, one of the police officers asked me, said, he made a comment in his statement that the emergency brake was on. Can you tell us if the emergency brake is on? So I went back in the water and the car was still somewhat submerged, and went into the car and could feel the emergency brake had been pulled. It was a hand brake. And I'm like, no, it's on. So we finally get it out 2.5 hours, 3 hours later. I don't remember what it was. It was waiting for the other towing company to get there with the right piece of equipment, because although I had that piece of equipment, it was not on the road at that time. And so we get it out. Sure enough, there's the emergency brake. The cop says, well, he did set it. I said, no, he didn't. I said, watch this. I put my hand on it. I pulled it up another 3 or 4 inches. I said, it wasn't set completely. And it probably wasn't set correctly. A lot of people push the button in when they pull up the handbrake. That button is only to release it. So his wife had shown up originally in the beginning, and she kept getting too close, so we shoot her away. Later on, she came back and she said, we don't have a boat. Why is he even at the boat dock? It turned out he had a bit of a habit, and we think that caused some of it. The car got out of there finally. It was completely totaled. Obviously it's in salt water. And the next day the wife calls me. And this was when we started having texting, and we had pictures we could send on text. And she said, I don't know why that car's in the front of the body shop. She said, everybody can see it. And I said, and you destroyed the interior of it. And so I don't know what was being fed to her. Because when she was there and we were moving our way, the car was out in the water, so she couldn't really see what was going on. And I said, ma'am, the car is behind the fence, number one. Here's a picture of it. I was so proud of myself I could do that. Technology thing. And I said, I didn't destroy the interior. Here's a picture of it. Your husband destroyed the whole car. It turns out that he had fabricated, from what I was understood from between the different departments that I talked to, insurance, police, whatever, and her, that they didn't have the full coverage on it. And I'm guessing that maybe he was doing it that way to get a claim on it so he could pay off the car. Well, they didn't have the coverage on it to cover it to begin with.
Well, that didn't work out for him.
No, it didn't work out so well, and neither did my hair appointment either.
It looks like this next call is like looking for a needle in a haystack.
That would be a good analogy, yes. Because the customer is not answering the phone. The customer has not returned my voicemail. And the motor club, and we're going to look at the notes again, did not ask the customer or document it or somehow as to what upper level are they at. Finally found the Lexus in the parking lot, not at the Cheesecake Factory, but indeed more at JCPenney's. Unfortunately, it is locked up. Here's your license tag to validate it. That we didn't get from dispatch until after we called back in. It's locked up. It's locked up. This does match what we have on file. And this is definitely damaged in the front. And although it seems to be a minor infraction, it does have a little problem with clearance down here, which would justify not wanting to drive it. So, let's go call roadside and say, sorry, Charlie.
So without the keys, you're just going to leave it?
I'm leaving it, yeah. The reason being is, I'm sure it's an all-wheel drive, number one, okay? Although it doesn't say all-wheel drive AWD on there. And that's a problem. You ask the customer, is it an all-wheel drive? And they go, I don't know, how do I tell? So you tell them to go back to the back and look. And they don't see AWD because maybe the badging isn't on there. Now, it might be possible that this is just a two-wheel drive. So let's go back to the call and see if it tells me anything. But even then, I can't put it in neutral. I don't want to drag it against this transmission. I can skate it. I don't have go jacks, but I can skate it. But then what happens to the tow operator that comes out in a situation like this? There's no keys that we have any idea of. Car's locked up. So we skate it on the bed. We do our due diligence with proper equipment. We soap the bed, we WD-40 it, whatever. And now the customer claims that we damaged the transmission on a 2024.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if it's a Lexus or a Chevrolet, it's an expensive investment. And I'm not going to take a chance, liability-wise, of damaging it. This would be a good job for wheel lift and dollies. Now let's see, which my wheel lift and dolly truck is not currently on the road. Nope. Drivetrain, all-wheel drive.
Yeah, you're right, huh?
Okay.
Absolutely right.
So, this is definitely not something I'm going to touch at this point unless I have the keys. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let roadside know we discovered the car. My phone's ringing, excuse me. Nationwide Towing. I'm sorry.
Pick up the car, the Lexus 24.
Are you? Is that your car?
Yeah, that's the one.
I have been trying to call you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right. I'm glad you came out. I was just getting ready to leave.
Oh, okay.
You have the keys and everything,
Yeah,
right?
key, everything.
Okay. Well, that took care of that.
Yeah.
So does this look good on me?
Yes, it does.
Don't show them the crash side. We don't want to ruin the image.
Yes.
And before I switch that ride along, let's see if I don't have to.
So what are you looking for underneath there?
I'm looking for a oval shaped hole that I can put my mini J in. This is aluminum, so I can't do it on that. And there is nothing here. So we will be going with, sometimes they're right in front of you and you just don't see them because you're not familiar with the undercarriage of these cars. This is, there's something in there. Nothing in there. All right, now we're gonna look and see if we have the access points up here. Nope. We will be doing an axle bridle, just as I suspected, which is okay with me. Because I'm a little dyslexic, and I don't judge distance very well sometimes.
That's great.
I get a little further away from the car. I'd much rather do that than cremate a car.
Oh, definitely.
You know. There you go. Now, the other thing about the beauty of these axle bridles, especially the long ones, is you pull this up. What's on it? Nylon strap. If this weren't damaged, then that nylon strap is not going to tear that up. Okay, and I think I got
cool.
a little twisted, but it'll be all right.
So Ginger, you move around, you get up and down real quick and everything. And earlier when we were in the dealership,
one of the guys that you're talking to says that you have a birthday coming up. How old are you going to be, or how young are you going to be?
Well, I'm going to be younger today than I will be tomorrow, but on my birthday, I will be 73 years old.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
That's really awesome, and I would like to think that you're going to be an inspiration to people that don't know you already. But the way you move around, I'm impressed.
Thank you very much. I confess, I don't move around as easy as I used to. You keep doing it, you'll be fine. That's not true. Your body has other plans for you.
Well, you're doing good.
Thank you, dear. I appreciate that. So tell me, you have a birthday coming up the day after mine.
Yes.
And while we're having true confessions, I guess you're 42, 43. How old will you be?
Well, thank you.
How young will you be?
I am going to be 50 years old.
No, you're going to have the 50th birthday over the big hill.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have guessed it.
Yeah.
But knowing what your age your son is, I probably misjudged my numbers, but congratulations.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
50. It's not so scary. Wait till you hit 70 and you go, where'd it go?
Yeah.
And that's exactly it. You know, time is a taskmaster.
Mm-hmm.
And you think you got all the time in the world, and all of a sudden it's like,
Yeah.
where'd it go to?
Yeah. You're right about that.
Happy birthday.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay.
And our birthdays are what, 2 days apart or 1 day apart?
No, I'm on the 21st and you're on the 22nd.
22nd.
correct?
Yeah.
We are.
Happy birthday to us.
Happy birthday to us, absolutely. So let's rock this party.
All right.
Get this one where it's going.
Well, Ginger, we're on the way to drop off this Lexus, and I have a question for you. If there are some ladies, young ladies, or that wanted to get into the tow business, what would be your advice to them based on your experience that you've had over the last 43 years?
My advice to you would be understand that you're going to be getting out of bed at 3 o'clock in the morning and maybe going right back to bed in 20 minutes because the call canceled. It happens. My advice would be, more importantly, this is not really a job. When you look at it from my perspective, it's actually a lifestyle. And this is not where you go out looking to find a man or whatever. This is something that you do because you want to take care of people, you want to help them. I would also make sure that if you do get into this field, this is a predominantly male field, have a very thick skin, because they're going to test you to see how well you can take the off-color jokes and how well you will respond to being teased and harassed, because you will be, because it's fun. It's a guy thing. It's part of what it is, and you don't take it offensively. So when you go in knowing this is what you'd like to do, that you can still be a lady doing this. As I told Chris earlier, I can put on a dress as long as I get my nails done. Mm-hmm. You would never know when I walked in a room I do what I do. Mm-hmm. And I proved that very well at a friend's wedding, and they owned a large towing company. And it took the bride coming up and telling the two guys that didn't believe me that I had just towed her husband's car 2 nights before. And yes, this is true. So always be a lady. Remember that we're going to use bad words occasionally. Be careful who you use them around. Be a lady. Because there's nothing wrong with being a lady.
Yeah.
And when you become a lady and you do this, or you stand your ground properly, and that's a very fine line, especially when you're a girl, you earn more respect. And respect is definitely earned. It's not given. Don't ever expect it to be handed to you.
Yeah.
Because that silver platter doesn't exist. And go for it. Have a good time. You can be girly. You can bat your eyelashes. I do. If I can't push a car out somewhere and I see a gentleman nearby, I'll bat my eyelashes in a heartbeat. You know, using the tools you have without being in a improper area.
Yeah.
And whatever you do, never, ever, ever date anybody in any one of the accounts that your company tows for, or if you're blessed enough to sit there and own your own towing company, any companies that you tow for as an account. Don't cross that line, because when it goes sour, you're going to lose the account. You know, Chris, you were asking me points and suggestions and recommendations for people.
Yeah.
I guess from the wise old turtle age here. One of the things I kind of forgot, didn't touch on, it's called money. People don't talk about it. Is there money doing this? Yeah. Is there money spent to do this? Oh, heck yes. In any business, it's that same way. And you've got to learn how to manage your money. And I'll confess, I'm not the best person at that. My husband and I did not save money well. You asked me, or somebody asked me recently about retiring. Could I retire? Am I old enough to retire? Lord knows yes. However, could I retire? Probably not, because we didn't handle our money right. And you should handle your money right. Whether you put $10 or $15 a week aside, you're going to eat that, you're going to smoke that, you're going to drink that in soda pop, whatever. It's always good to have it as that cushion.
Yeah.
As far as I'm going, I don't intend to retire. I enjoy doing what I do. And the day I retire is the day that you guys carry me on the back of one of these beds. Because why? 2 reasons. Number one, I love what I'm doing, and I don't want to stop. And until I can't, I will. And the other thing is because the money wasn't managed right, the money's not there to really do what most people would like to do. So my advice to y'all out there, I don't care if you're male, you're female, I don't care if you're younger right now, you're older, whatever you are, it's never too late to start. I have saved money. Recessions have come along. You sit there and you pick up the pieces and you move on. People think you're wealthy when you run a business. Truth is, you're probably not. You just look it to the outside person. This kind of industry, people think you make tons of money. Not necessarily. Yes, if you repo, maybe. Yes, if you do private property towaways, maybe. But there's that element of danger that doesn't make it that worthwhile. This truck, the insurance on this truck alone per year right now, no claims, no losses, no damages since 2011 when my little truck was stolen, is $18,000 a year. Think about that. It's a lot of money. And your $100 tow or your $50 tow is not going to cut it on $18,000. And that's just one fix. You've got truck payments, you've got tires, you've got fuel, you've got hopefully your own paycheck, your office, if you have personnel, if you have drivers, you've got to think about their paycheck. Treat those drivers with respect, because they are your team and they will get you further ahead than you ever realized. Okay. So that's what that is. So just so everybody knows that yes, I'm aware I micromanage. Not the greatest things in sliced bread. We're not perfect. You're always learning till the day you're gone. And I suspect you might learn after that too.
But you are badass, let's admit. You are badass, Ginger.
Thank you. I like that nickname. What do they call me? Badass, I guess.
There you go. While Ginger gets the rest of this car sorted out and parts, just want to say I really had a good time hanging out with her today. We talked about a lot of different things. Specifically, this is for the move over law segment, but I'd like to do this again with some other companies in the Central Florida area. Heavy tow operators, heavy wreckers, and things like that. So if you know of any companies that would welcome me to hang out with them for the day and kind of showcase what they do, email me, Chris@BigRickVideos.com. and you never know, I'll maybe start expanding out to some different states and things like that. So let me know. See y'all later.